Hey everyone, it's Hannah and welcome back to another episode of the Corner of Craft podcast, episode 97. Can you believe? Edging ever closer to 100, and I definitely would have already surpassed that by now if I was at least somewhat consistent, but apparently I'm not. My knitting mojo isn't consistent, so that could be why. This is a knitting and crochet podcast in which I talk about the projects I have finished, the projects I am working on, the yarn that I have acquired, and all of that fun stuff. I try to make it monthly. Let's see how we do. If you are new, hello, my name is Hannah, like I've already said. I'm coming at you today from a very overcast and cloudy Nottingham here in the UK. I am a small business owner. I own the Corner of Craft, in case you hadn't gathered. I make hand-beaded stitch markers and I also dye yarn under the name Chromatic Yarns, and all of my colourways are inspired by various things in Dungeons and Dragons, unless I fancy going off-piste. But for the most part, 99.9%. D&D inspired. Very nice. And yeah, it is so overcast. We've had, here in the UK, at least where I live, we've had a terrible July weather-wise. I've had to get the jeans back out. We had such a hot June. I've had to get the jeans back out. I've been wearing jumpers and sweatshirts. We have full duvet on the bed instead of just a sheet. And it's just like, what is this? We've been so spoiled the last few years with such warm temperatures and it actually feeling like summer. And then now, here we are. Gloom. So gloomy. Anyway, sincerest apologies for me being AWOL for the last 2 weeks. I'm absolutely fine. I don't know what happened 2 weeks ago. All of a sudden the week passed and I didn't have a video to put up. But last week my parents came up for the week, so I didn't have time to record. And now I'm back. I have a shop update tomorrow, Saturday, the 29th of July. At 4 PM BST UK time. So I'm kind of busy and panic prepping for that. And also I'm very behind on twisting Advent minis. I've dyed up, well technically I've dyed up 10 days, but I'm going to over dye one of them because it's not quite deep enough for what I want. And I only realised yesterday as I was twisting it up. So I will sort that out probably on Sunday, depending if I'm hungover. If not, I need to package at some point. I will sort it out when I next get a dye day. And yeah, I'm just kind of trying to get on top of Advents. I already feel like I'm behind, but I'm so behind on twisting. It's just, there's a lot of juggling that I'm currently doing. And it's a real fun time. I'm just going to put it out there right now. If you hear a tummy rumbling at any point during this, it is mine. I'm recording this before even my first cup of tea and before breakfast. Fun times. Went to see Barbie yesterday. As you can tell, pink nails. I went pink earrings. I went with a t-shirt that has a tiny bit of pink on. And I've gone very pink on the eyeshadow. But then you put glasses on, you can't see it anymore, so it doesn't matter. I did also go pink lipstick, but I thought that's a little extreme. But there might still be some colour left. Yeah, loved the Barbie film. I thought it was so much fun. Yes. So good. Anyway, you're not here for my analysis of the Barbie film. Also, I need to film demonstrating how long film is for how much knitting I got done during said film. So this will be a small spoiler for that, if that's okay with you. Because I'm going to be showing the sock. I only filmed it. And I only went yesterday, so I haven't had time to film it. Any hooberies? Where are my sock blockers? Is there any of them around? No, literally chaos. Found one. I live my life in absolute chaos. I have people asking me where I got my sock blockers from. I bought them on Etsy a good few years ago now. And these are from a company called Obscure Designs. But I don't think they are going anymore, which is a shame because I really love these. But this sock blocker is not big enough for a Mario sock, but this is what I have finished. This is literally my only... Oh, I got a hole there. That's fine. It's just where I picked up the heel. I didn't do a very good job, clearly. These are the socks that I knit for Mario out of the Monster Manual colourway on Yak Sock. We have 2 of them. Finished objects. Heel flap and gusset. It's his favourite fitting heel. And also I don't hate knitting them quite so much anymore. We've got many rounds of 2x2 rib at the top. More than 15. I usually do 15. Maybe it's 18. And then just 72 stitches, 2.5mm needles. And then he's got real big feet, so means a whole lot of knitting. But yeah, I finished those. So now he can have them because he's been asking for them. And I said, no, you can't wear them. I need to show them on the podcast. And then you can have them because I do not want to show worn socks on the podcast. I also haven't mended his tweed ones from yarn that I made from the Fibre Fox that he's got so many holes in. I don't even know where to start, but I need to start somewhere. But honestly, that is my only finished object. I didn't even announce the segment that was finished objects. Oh, social media. Hello, I have social media. Check the description box for all of the links. I also have Threads. I'm trying to be better at using it because I do actually really enjoy the community there. I do wish some of the people I followed would post a bit more because I keep getting like random people coming up in my feed because the people that I'm following aren't posting because everyone got excited and then forgot about it for 2 weeks. And what else was I going to say? Podcast notes. I write them. I don't know if I'm going to have the time to write them immediately as this goes up tomorrow. I'll try. I'll make it work. Podcast notes. If you want any more information about any of the projects that I talk about, if I run through anything too quickly, please check out the podcast notes. I go into extensive detail about everything there. The tea I'm drinking today, I've forgotten how to film videos. It's just a Yorkshire tea biscuit brew. It's delicious. And it's usually the first cup of tea that I have of the day because generally I drink it without really thinking about it. First cup of tea of the day, it's like I need caffeine. Although saying that, I've not had any today and I feel quite jazzed. But I usually just drink it for the caffeine, and then the next tea is when I go into my bird and blends. Unless I'm like doing something that I know I'll end up drinking my tea cold, then I'll just stick to a Yorkshire tea biscuit brew because I don't want to ruin the bird and blend. So I've got quite a few projects and some haven't had much progress on them. Oh, I can actually put these in my sock drawer because I've shown these. They're just up here, chilling. Something that I've not touched since the last podcast is my cozy, just feel cozy shawl, like festive Advent shawl. I've not touched that since the last podcast, and that's fine. I will get back to that. So I'm not going to talk about it here. I'm just going to pop that away. So the other big project that I have, because I've just got a ton of socks. Not a ton, three different sock projects on the go. That's quite a lot. That is all my sock needle. 4. Where's that one? No, there. 4. I have 4 sock projects on the go, which is all my needles, minus 1. So I'll show you the other big project. It's my Effervescent jumper, sweater, pullover. I'm calling it a jumper, I'm English. Yeah, it's my Effervescent jumper, patterned by Amy Share. And when my parents came up, my mum is a knitter as well, so I felt confident putting this together with her here, so if I needed any help I could be like, Mum! I mean, she doesn't tend to knit all in one, she tends to knit seamed, but sometimes just reading what you have to do out loud to someone who understands knitting patterns just makes you understand things a bit clearer, but actually turns out I didn't need help anyway. So this yarn is Pigment and Ply, Eskel or the Leshy. We've started rewatching, it's covered in cat hair. We've started watching season 2 of, did I say watching or rewatching? Rewatching season 2 of The Witcher. That's been put on pause because Mario introduced me to The Bear, which is on Disney Plus, and it's set in a kitchen in Chicago. And we binged watched over half of the first series, finished the first series day before yesterday, and yesterday watched the first episode of the second series. Absolutely loved it. No spoilers please for the second series, but as someone who works in kitchens, Mario's worked, well, I don't currently work in kitchens. I have worked in kitchens, Mario's worked in kitchens, and just like it's nice to see, and also has confirmed that I could never be a professional chef. 1, I can't cook and don't really enjoy cooking anyway, and 2, too stressful. So many times watching season 1 where I would have been like, and that's when I would have walked out, and that's when I quit my job. Nope. Do not have the patience. Anyway, so I'm on to the lace panels. I decided, so I've knit the body 5 inches longer than the pattern says because I didn't want a super cropped jumper, but actually it is also just quite a little cropped anyway, so maybe I've just made it an awkward length. These are all things I can fix. Well, after blocking we can assess. And I knit an extra inch on the arms because I have gorilla arms. But once again, if I decide I want it longer, I can make it longer. I've got all my dangles here, showing my decreases. Very nice, very, very exciting. It isn't actually that scary picking up, putting it all together. I thought it was going to be, but actually, just read the pattern and it walks you through it. And then it's not scary. Who'd have thunk it? But yes, so I've got 2 gaping armpit holes, which is fun, and I think I have to graft these together at some point, but I've not read that far ahead in the pattern, even though people always say read the whole pattern and then blah blah blah, but no. And then we're on to the lace chart. I won't lie, I've a little bit forgotten where I am on it because I've not touched it in a few days, but I think I know the pattern, or I understand the lace pattern well enough now to where I think I would be able to pick it up. I know whereabouts I am, which is good. This is my first time knitting lace where I have corrected a mistake. I've knit lace a few times now. I made the Love Note jumper, which I did forget that I'd knit. I made some socks that were all the rage with lace. I knit them while I was in Germany because I remember going out and drinking wine and knitting them. And I had a whole thing about friends don't let friends knit lace while drinking or something. I had ages, it was years ago now, you know, back when I used to socialise and drink. Don't do that anymore. And my wedding shawl was knit entirely out of mohair in lace, and I definitely made mistakes in my wedding shawl, but at the same time no one's going to notice or be rude enough to correct them, so I just kind of fluffed it at the end of the row and then it was fine. It was before I had like got into the flow of the pattern and could read my lace, and I was like, oh, I now see where I went wrong. But here I'd gone wrong at a couple of points. One in particular, I made a mistake probably about here, and then I consistently made it. I put my yarn over in the wrong place, and here is the beginning of the round. So for over 3/4 of the jumper I needed to, and I noticed it 2 rows on, so I needed to drop down and fix it, and I did successfully. And now looking at it, I can't see where I did it for any of them. So I'm a pro now. Pro advanced knitter. I think that's maybe what I should put next to my name. Is that an official qualification? Maybe. Put it next to my degree. Hannah, BA, Joint Ons, Pro Knitter. I'm not a pro knitter, but I am actually really enjoying this. I did honestly, when I got to the lace panel, I was like, we're on the home straight, folks. We're on the home straight, because it's always the body that drags on a jumper and the sleeves, isn't it? That's always the bit that you're like, oh my god, why is this taking so long? With this pattern, because it's been on the needles for so long now, I honestly don't want to look at it anymore because I just want to cast on other things. I have so many sweaters quantities back here, and I've got some yarn set aside for a gosh darn elf mail that I want to make a cropped long sleeve elf mail for me to wear over my dresses out of my Scanlan colourway, and another dark purple colourway that I really need to think of a name for because I've actually got a couple of skeins with it coming in the shop tomorrow. Hopefully I'll have a name by then. But I'm so excited to cast on something else that this is dragging so much, and you can't really see the lace on camera. Let me try and hold. I'll try and hold it up. Stop waving it around so much. It's not going to show as clearly as on something which is either less variegated or a bit lighter, but I'm thinking I am ghostly pep, as you can see. I'm ghostly pep. This is me with a slight tan, and I'm thinking with my skin behind it, and when it's blocked, you'll be able to see it better. But I think I do really like this. I just kind of want it to be done. Fair analysis? I feel like that's a fair analysis. Overall, enjoying the knit. Kind of wish the lace moved a little bit quicker. But I guess because it's not just mindless round and round and round, I have to think about what I'm doing. There's so much cat hair on this. They must have slept on it at some point. By they, I specifically mean Miso. This is Miso hair that I'm pulling off because she is a black and white cat and Kimchi is black, and I can't see that on here. Anyway, yes. I had to, a bee flew into our bathroom today, a big old bumblebee, and I hadn't noticed it until Kimchi got up from her snoozing spot on the bed and ran into the bathroom. And I had to, well, the bee is fine. Let's just get there. So I had to take the cat out. Then the other cat ran in, so I had to take the cat out. Oh my god. Managed to get both cats out of the bathroom, and then just gradually found a notebook, just went boop, boop, and it climbed on the notebook, and I just booped it out the window, and it was fine. But yeah, what a palaver. Literally, I'd get one cat out, and the other one would come in, and I was just like, what is this? This feels like a cartoon. Right, if we're doing socks, we'll start with a half object. One that doesn't actually have an assigned needle to it right now because I nicked it for my Barbie yarn. This is a almost half object. I'm missing a heel. That stitch marker is not to indicate where the heel goes, but it is one of my beaded stitch markers, so that's a nice example. That's taken from demonstrating how long a film is but how much knitting I got done during said film, which is a series I kind of do. It's not really a series of short form content across social media. My social media accounts. It's not taking the world by storm, but I'm really enjoying doing it. But this was the sock I was using for it, and this was the indicator of how far I'd got. But yes, I've done the toe. I need to work out where to put the heel, and then I can cast on the rib for the next sock, and then yeah. Don't know whether to wind it. I need to weigh this actually. That's what I need to do. I need to weigh this and then establish if I want to wind it on, because it would start, well, I've already started the blue on this one, so I'd have to wind off all the blue in the next one, but it would start with the purple stripe, which is only one more. Oh no, I'll wind it off, because then I've got some blue here, so it's just all of that, all of that, all of that. That should be okay. I'll weigh it anyway. We can go sisters, not twins. But seeing as it's so close, I feel like I should, because it's not going to look intentional. If it was like in the middle of the blue and green, I'd be like, no, I won't bother winding it on. But this is Fab Funky Fibres self-striping yarn. I think they've got stuff in their shop. I thought that they'd kind of gone off the radar a little bit, but maybe it's Instagram not showing me anyone's posts. In the Cadbury colourway that I got it Yarningham 2019, the yarn show we don't talk about. And yeah. 64 stitches, 2.25mm needle, sock for myself. And then this is just a contrast that I have. Don't know where the label is, but someone sent it to me when I had a hole in my top, and this colourway actually really closely matched, so she sent it to me so I could mend it, and I finally mended it and then thought, oh, I can use this as the contrast, even though the yellows don't match that closely. You know, this one's a bit more golden, this one's a bit more lemon, but at the same time, it's close enough. Sisters, not twins. Come on. Come on. Next up, we have another half object. This one actually is a genuine half object. Have I even sewn the ends? Oh, I've even sewn the ends. I think I may have shown this on the last podcast anyway, but maybe not. So this is the Stardust, my Stardust colourway that I did for the collaboration that I did with some other indie dyers. So much fun. Just like, we're just a bunch of friends all dyeing movie themed colourways periodically throughout the year. I think the next one we're planning to do is Halloween films. So I'm excited. I need to rewatch mine. But this is, I chose Stardust. This was a cozy night in film, so I chose Stardust because that was when I was still trying to make it vaguely D&D related. Now I'm just going balls to the wall and in the most polite way, sod D&D for this genre until it gets to like action films or fantasy or whatever, and then I can actually use the D&D film. But I have also been thinking about maybe I want to do a collection for the D&D film, but I need to rewatch it with that in mind, whereas when I went to see it I was just enjoying it. So this is on my merino sock base, which is 85% superwash merino, 15% nylon, and this is the sock set that I did. I did 1x1 rib at the top, I don't know why, and maybe too many rounds of it. And then this is basically the blueberry waffle sock, but this is the 4-ply version as opposed to the original pattern, which is in double knit. Is this one of my hairs? It might be, because I did take this to the hairdressers. Yeah, I got my hair cut whilst I knit this sock. I knit this sock in like 2 days, and the other one I've been dragging my feet with a little bit because I just really wanted to get a sample out for photos. I don't knit that fast. So this is where I am on the second sock. This is how much it stretches out when you're wearing it. It's so mushed at the moment. So I have I've turned the heel and just picked up all the stitches. I did that yesterday. I'm now in the throes of decreasing for the heel. Got my little beaded sloth on here because I thought it vaguely colour coordinated, and it's so old. The hardware has tarnished, but like it doesn't discolour my knitting at all, and actually it just looks like it's gone antique bronzy gold colour, so I don't mind. Because I only use silver plated stuff, findings, they do tarnish, and I find mine from personal experience, if I have a stitch marker on just sat on a project in a project bag, which I do have a few of dotted around, they tarnish much quicker than if I keep them in my notions pouch. So pro tip, keep your stitch markers in your notions pouch. They will tarnish slower, but they will tarnish over time. It's metal, it reacts to oxygen. It's the way of the world. But yes, this, yeah, Blueberry Waffle Sock is a free pattern on Ravelry. And yeah. I had this on pause for a while because I knitted from here during Matilda. We watched Matilda the musical on Netflix, and I was like, oh, I'll knit my sock, I'll do a thing. And then my parents came up and I didn't have a chance to record the segment, so that's a little bit why this was put on hold, because I needed to show the demonstration. I can't show the demonstration if I've then knit further on. That's cheating, and I don't cheat during demonstrating how long a film is by how much knitting I got done during said film. I'm honest to a fault. Anyway, that is in my Fibre Fox project bag. The Fibre Fox with a bunch of pins on. And it's kind of skelly, as in, I should have taken this to the Barbie film yesterday. I did think about it, but I didn't want to move too many projects around. Okay, next up, living in this bag, which is covered in mohair. This is mohair fluff rather than anything. I love this project bag so much. My Emerald Fibres, no longer making bags, sadly, because I really want a D20 one. But I love her bags. So this is a pretty hefty way through this. I bought a bunch of yarn when Mum and Dad came up. My mum is also a knitter, like I said, and she was looking for some commercial sock yarn for one of her friends because she was going to knit him a pair of socks. And so I thought, actually, that's a very good idea. I'm also going to get some commercial yarn for Mario, so he doesn't wear through them, hopefully, quite so quickly, because maybe they'll hopefully be a little more robust, but who knows. So one of them that I got, I won't show them all now because that's a whole different segment. One of them that I got is this one. It's West Yorkshire Spinners in the Signature 4-ply. It's the classic. But it's part of the Winwick Mum collections, and I think this colourway is called Brightside, but it's not on the label, annoyingly. It says it's 75% wool, 25% nylon. I won't lie, I did get it at John Lewis as opposed to a local yarn shop, but that is a little bit because Knit Nottingham was closed on the day that we went to Nottingham. I know that's a really bad excuse because I could just order it online, but we were there and I saw it and I was like, oh, I'll just get it, I may as well. And yeah, this is how far through I am. Once again, 72 stitches, 2.25mm needles, 2x2 rib for 15 rounds, and then knit the leg. It hasn't knit up how I thought it would because I thought that there would be even stripes. I've mentioned this in the Patreon video that I posted on Monday. I thought there would be even stripes. They are not even stripes. They're at all, basically. I've done the heel flap and gusset. And as a general rule, I hate doing heel flap and gusset on self-striping yarn because I think it messes up the stripes. And I mean, it has a little bit. But what I did was I wound off a little bit when I rejoined it back on. After I'd done the heel, I cut the yarn, and when I rejoined it back on, I wound it off to be where it was when I started the heel. So the front of the sock isn't hugely disrupted. And you know what? I'm really chuffed with that because you can't even tell that it's a heel flap and gusset. It just looks like I've seamlessly knit it, but boom, surprise, there's a heel flap and gusset because Marianne prefers the fit of this heel as opposed to an afterthought, because I've tried to do an afterthought. I tried to do a new depth heel. He doesn't like the fit on them as much, so who knew he'd be so picky? But I managed to match it up and actually it works, and I'm really chuffed with that, because that's not really something I achieve with self-striping. But I guess because the stripes change so frequently, you can't really tell that much. For example, this green here only has 2 stripes and the rest of them have 3, and this one's got 4, but you can't really tell, so it's fine. Yeah, whereas if they were all even the same stripes, I think you'd be able to tell a bit more. But I've just got my little star stitch marker on, which my friend Anna made. And I just switched the Finding Out to one of the ones that I really like to use. The earring findings are my stitch marker clippies of choice, the lever back. I like them. I really like them. Biased, I use them on all my stitch markers, but yes. There's that one. And then the final sock, the pièce de résistance, is a huge spoiler for demonstrating how long a film is, but how much knitting I got done during said film. I obviously needed to cast on a pink sock for Barbie. I painted my nails pink for the occasion. Oh my goodness, the amount of people wearing pink in that cinema was absolutely incredible. I loved it so much. It made me so happy. But this is how much I got knit during the film. It doesn't look like that much for a 2-hour film, but I don't know what happened. I do know what happened. The cinema seats were so narrow and I had someone sat next to me. I never usually have someone sitting next to me in the cinema because we usually go to cinema like days after or weeks after a film comes out. And also my local cinema has much wider seats. I can fit a bag next to me. It's delightful. You can put your feet up and it's £4 cheaper. £4 cheaper. So we won't be going to the other cinema anytime soon. But yes, this is how much I got done from here upwards. This is actually my own hand-dyed yarn in the Bardic Inspiration colourway, which is one of the first colourways I ever dyed, and I hadn't rejigged it, so I've rejigged it slightly. And yeah, this is on my sparkle sock base, which is 75% superwash merino, 10% nylon and 20% nylon and 5% lurex, which makes it real sparkly, but I don't know if you can tell. Maybe a little bit. To me, it is super sparkly, and it just seemed, I was going to knit this or hamster unicorns, and I couldn't decide which I wanted, and then I realised that this look reminded me of one of the Barbies that my sister and I both had growing up, which was a gymnast Barbie, and this is more, I feel this is more 90s Barbie, and then hamster unicorn is maybe more noughties Barbie because it's a paler pink and blah blah blah. But yes, so much fun, such a fun colourway, and yeah, I really like how the speckles are turning out for it. Yeah, quite proud of that. But I do actually have some of this coming in the shop update tomorrow, just as a little aside if you're interested. Obviously no pressure, but yes, this is 64 stitches on 2.25mm needles, and I will say knitting my sparkle base without looking is a little more challenging than any of my other bases I've discovered, because sometimes the metallic strand wants to split from the stitch, so I had to count my stitches quite often. But I mean, I had the right number every time. I didn't have to correct anything, so not bad. Not bad. And maybe that's why I was knitting slow, because I had to count. But I feel like I just haven't got as much knit as I usually do. But yeah, I need to finish this sock, because then if next week we go and see Oppenheimer, which is a 3-hour film. 3-hour film is a very long time. I'm definitely not going to just knit non-stop for 3 hours, because I will definitely have to nip to the loo at some point. I need to cast one of these on just so I can knit a tube. And just see how far down the tube I can get. I just feel like I knit most of this maybe to here, the Spider-Man Through the Spider-Verse, which is 2 hours and something, and I just feel like I didn't get as much done. Oh, maybe I did. Maybe I did. Maybe I'm just judging myself too harshly. I don't know. Or maybe it's just clearer to see on self-striping yarn. You never know, you know? But yes, this is in a bag that Bernadette made for me out of scraps of fabric from a dress that she made, Exploding TARDIS bag. I've used this bag so much, Bernadette. I don't know if you still watch my podcast. I have used this bag so much. I absolutely love it. What I need to do is make a little TARDIS stitch marker and just permanently have it on the zip, and then I think that would be wonderful, because I just don't, I haven't done that for some reason yet at all. But yeah, that is all the knitting projects and crochet projects that I have and haven't been working on. Yeah. So I am going to do stash enhancements, and then I'm going to chat about a knit along and crochet along and make along that I want to host starting Tuesday the 1st of August. I haven't thought this through. I've just decided this very second that I'm going to be doing it. I don't have a heap of stash enhancements, but there was that ball of bright side with the sock that I'm knitting for Mario. At the same time, I bought this skein of West Yorkshire Spinners in the pheasant colourway because I thought it was quite nice. Pheasanty. Also 75% wool, 25% nylon. And it's just kind of like teals and rusty oranges and reds and delightful stuff. I love it. And yeah, manly. And then we went to Newark and went to a shop there, and I've got some this is James C. Brett Funny Feet, with bamboo. I thought it was soft. So it's 50% superwashable, 25% polyamide and 25% bamboo. This is in the colourway FZB15. Catchy, but it's just like blues and greens. Stripy, I think, hoping. And this was like pretty affordable. I think this was maybe £5 something a ball. And then this one was less. This is Stylecraft Head Over Heels, Walking in Nature, designed by Stuart Hillard. Do you know who that is? This is the colourway 3109 Promenade, and 75% wool, 25% polyamide. And this is what it's going to knit up like. I like when they show you a little picture so you actually know what to expect. And I just thought I would just wanted to give him more options because he loves wearing hand knit socks. So now I have no excuse to not constantly have a pair of socks and the needles for him. Oh, I've been to the gym this week, only once, but Jesus, my upper body hurts. And then yesterday I decided to spontaneously do an at-home lower body workout, so now my lower body hurts too. So I'm just aching all over because I'm not used to working out. But I really wanted to be strong. But then I went to the gym and I absolutely hated it because it was overcrowded and intimidating. And I came home and wept and never want to go back. Yes. That was my gym experience. I have also finally frogged my twist and turns shawl you might have seen. Oh, I can now reclaim my little blackberry stitch marker. What's that going to go on? I'll just pop it on this project bag. There we go, lovely. And then the knit along. Yes, my foot has gone dead, so the feeling is slowly coming back. So if I'm grimacing slightly, that is because, you know when you sit cross-legged for a while and then all of a sudden you move, and then if you move your foot at all, pain shoots up your leg. So I'm just going to wiggle my toes for a bit and then I'll come back to you. Oh, ow. Okay, I'm back. It's not perfect. It's still a little achy breaky, but that's fine. So the Advents of December's Past Make Along was something that I did last year, but I started it in November, optimistically thinking that if we, you know, made our projects using Advents of the previous years, then it would be, we wouldn't have any Advents left by the time the new Advent came in. Now, the issue with this is that for me, I didn't knit enough every single day for me to finish the project, and actually I ended up finishing the project partway through December, which meant I didn't actually start either of my Advent projects. So I've already shown you one Advent project that I've been working on, but I won't be using this as my other one. I have as my make along project, I have a Cast Few Yarns Advent that I'm going to be making a fade into Christmas shawl / blanket, because I think that would be really cute. Just nice and comfy, and like a little lap blanket and a little shawl. Plus I want to crochet more, so I am going to start. So right, can you tell I've not thought about this? I'm just announcing this on the fly. The Advents of December's Past Make Along is make something using a fibery yarny advent calendar that is not from the current year, which makes sense because they haven't come out yet, because most of us are still panicking and making them. It can be 12 days, it can be 24 days, it could be 4 sock sets. Yeah, I'm going to run it from the 1st of August until the 1st of November. That should give all of us enough time to finish. Oh no, 1st of December, the 30th of November. I'm going to run it from the 1st of August to the 30th of November. Come on, Hannah, get it together. That should hopefully give us enough time to do a full Advent project. Fingers crossed. If you're already working on a project using a previous Advent calendar, I will say you can enter, but please let it be less than 25% done. You know, if you started a project and then abandoned it and you're only 6 days in, sure. Because I just think that makes it a little bit fair, because it is a whole lot of knitting. But then I suppose if some people are doing 12 days Advents. Okay, less than 50% done. We'll open it up a little bit. And yes, essentially what I will do is there will be prizes. I will pick some prizes out from, I will supply some yarn. Or if you would like to donate a prize, please feel free. But I will donate some yarn and stitch markers to the cause. And yeah, if you'd like to donate anything, please get in contact with me. We can chat it through. And the aim is to have finished your project by the time that you start the next Advent project. What day is December the 1st? So what I will do is I will open up a Google form, and so you can enter your details in there. You can show your Instagram posts or whatever you've been working on. If you can just describe what you've done. I mean, it would be nice to see photos though, I guess, but you can't send photos in a Google form. So if you just send me the link to the Instagram post that you've posted or what have you, because I don't want to do a Ravelry thread because that then excludes people that can't use Ravelry. So essentially there's no way of winning doing make-alongs anymore. But if you use hashtag AODPMAL23, because it's a new one for this year, I'll be able to scope out your makes. It'll be delightful. And yeah, if you enter your details, I will then enter you into a draw, and I will be able to pick your name, and then I will send you a message on Instagram or to your email inbox. To your email inbox probably makes more sense, then you know it's definitely from me. And yeah, I can ship out a prize to you. You can enter from anywhere. If you just want to enter and you don't want to win a prize, you just want to do it for the camaraderie, then that's absolutely fine. If you don't end up finishing your projects by the end of November, that's absolutely fine. Not all of us will. Me, I never. I start make-alongs, I start knit-alongs, I never ever finish them. I started this for the Knitters and Critters Cal. Don't even know if it's still going on. That was my accomplishment. Terrible. I will get back to it because it's actually quite a quick project, so I just need to get back on it. But yes, I will have more info. I'll post a separate video. I will have more info. I'll actually like write it out and flesh it out, but I will have it starting August the 1st, Tuesday, August the 1st, until 1. So you've got the whole of August, the whole of September, the whole of October, and the whole of November. That's 4 months to do your Advent. And then I will close the Google form on the 30th of November, and then on the 1st of December, first day of Vlogmas, if I choose to do Vlogmas this year, I will contact people about who won. So that's very exciting. So you can knit, you can crochet, you can spin, you can weave, you can do whatever. It's just got to be a fibre based Advent, be it, you know, untwisted yarn, twisted yarn, mini skeins, sock sets, whatever. Yeah, Advents of December's past. Make along 23. Is that okay? I don't know if that made sense. This is going to be fun to edit, I can tell already. I'm just a little all over the place. I should have thought about it before I spoke about it, but that's fine. Other than that, tomorrow I have a shop update. It is in stock yarn and in stock stitch markers. I have a few Halloween stitch markers because I'm trying to get a bit of a head start on that. I now have a new dye set up, so hopefully I will be able to dye more yarn at once, which means hopefully I will be able to do more frequent shop updates. It's been a little bit of a learning curve with the new setup. I've essentially doubled what I can do at once, which is really, really good. But yes, it's just been a little bit of a learning curve of changing how I do things, which is fine and exciting, and also learning how to not trip the switch because it can't handle all 4 induction hobs on at once. So yes, hopefully I will be able to do more shop updates, but I really want to start working on my next collection, which will be a Legends and Lattes collection, and I shared a couple of screenshots of my Pinterest board over on Threads, and I'm so excited to start like experimenting with it, but I'm also stressed about Advents. So there's a lot that I need to be doing, and yes. It is tomorrow on my website, thecornerofcraft.co.uk at 4 PM BST UK time, and I will ship it out next week. The other thing was Knit Crawl Yarn Club this month, next month, August, is going to be inspired by Vexalia from the Legends of Vox Machina, and that will be going on sale on the 1st of August at 4 PM BST, because the Knit Crawl Yarn Club always goes on sale at the 1st of the month at 4 PM UK time. So yeah, other than that life stuff, I won't lie, we've just kind of been plodding along a little bit, you know, cinema trips, D&D, we've been playing it, and reading. I've been reading, getting back into that. Which is also why my knitting progress isn't as swift as some people's, because I read physical books as opposed to ebooks, because I have a lot of them and I don't have an e-reader. I don't know where my e-reader is. I did have one, but I don't know where it is because I just didn't read for a good chunk of time. And then I bought a bunch of books because I'm now into the habit of buying books, which is terrible because I actually need to read the books. I have started a book, but I'm not really fully into it yet, so I'm tempted to stop reading the book and start another book and just get that and like see if that reignites the whole reading thing, but we'll see. Anyway, and I know audiobooks, but I have all these books. I have these books to read. I don't want to just have them sitting there gathering dust. I do actually want to read them. So anyway, I'm going to go twist up a bunch of yarn before I edit this, before it gets too hot up here to know what I'm doing. So thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. That would be delightful. And subscribe. I try to post here every week, even though I did take the last 2 weeks off. And also my morning routine has kicked the bucket already. I know. Essentially, after I filmed that week, I just kind of haven't stuck to it. But it's okay because it will come back. I will have it come back. But it's been intense. And also the weather's been terrible, so I've not really been inspired to, but that's literally the point of a morning routine, isn't it? To do these things in spite of. Anyway, I'm also going to go make myself some breakfast because it's 11 o'clock and I'm very hungry. So thanks so much for watching. Yes, follow me on social media. More information about all of the projects can be found in the podcast notes. And with all that being said, leave me a comment down below, let me know what you have been up to for the last fortnight. Can't believe I've not spoken to you for, well, technically it's 3 weeks since I last uploaded a video, isn't it? So let me know what you have been up to, that would be delightful. And if you would like, if you would like to, but obviously no pressure to, I do have Patreon. If you would like to become part of the Biscuit Brew crew, you get an extra video every week. I have a good time. I hope the other members of the crew also have a good time. But yes, and there's also like discounts and stuff. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you very soon in the next one, which will be next week. I'll make it a thing. Bye.